My name is Brinkschröder. Currently I'm working for the Archdiocese of Munich and Freising, and I'm responsible for Regenbogenpastoral. That means LGBTI+ ministry. More than 30 years ago, I started the Gay Theology Study Group. A few years later only, I started the Queer Gottesdienst service monthly for queer people in one of the churches in St. Paul. I'm also a member of HOOK, Homosexuals in Church, and that's where we started actually to do dialogue with bishops. We had a meeting every year, and that was kind of laid the ground for future developments here in Germany. LGBT ministry, and somehow it started from grassroots, from gay lesbian theologians who were not who didn't receive permission to work in the church, but were still interested to do something for their own spirituality, for the queer Catholic community. And I think the having regular services, this idea started in Frankfurt with Georg Trittin, who invented kind of gay service community there. In parallel, started the Gay Theology Study Group and thought we need critical reflection, analysis. Georg had a completely different approach. He said, no, we need to claim the space in the liturgy, in the spirituality. That was very appealing in a certain sense, that this is possible. But this was not on the level of we are accepted by the church. It was only we found an agreement. I mean, we were given a space. In Munich, it was Cardinal Ratzinger, and he said, okay, we have these gay people, and we need to find priests where they can do confession in an adequate way. I mean, I wouldn't ask what he meant by this, but clearly that moral theology is in place and needs to be respected. And that was more or less the beginning of LGBT ministry. In 2018, we got the official task from the Vicar General to develop steps for rainbow ministry. In the zeros year, for example, as we started with the queer service here in Munich, and we were just given limits. We were just given permission to talk to media in the queer sphere, but not outside. So the task was, to survive. The second phase, I think, was to establish trust. And that was in the dialogue with the Bishops' Conference. They started from trust. They checked me completely if I and a colleague were trustful persons. And then they started into this dialogue. And we did this without any media coverage, no press release, etc. But we made a lot of consent and a lot of practical progress through that. And it was a very constructive, cooperative experience. And the third experience is with Out in Church. That was now almost 3 years ago, when we had this big collective coming out of queer people working in the church. And that was a kind of disruptive energy, stopping the oppressive situation now. That was a clear challenge to church leaders, and it was the right moment to do so because the effects were very positive. So a few months later we had the labor law changed, for example, and entering in a same-sex marriage is now no longer a reason to be fired by the church. The post-colonial frame is not enough. We as queer Catholics need a global network, because it's not possible to come to a change within the official church or within the doctrine with proposals based on proposals just coming from Western groups. A lot of my work is to maintain contacts, to build solidarity with groups in Ghana or West Africa with ITNOVA and in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Because these groups in their local environment sometimes are completely isolated, so I think this is a very important task. The Catholic Church, as the name Catholic, means for all. So the Catholic Church can only be really Catholic if we accept everybody. But accepting is not enough. We also need steps in the direction of reconciliation, of sending messages of apology, building a relationship again. I mean, building up trust, first of all. So there is a lot to be done still. And I think, we have here in Munich, in the Archdiocese, the situation we have many people working as ministers, and not all are accepting. The Catholic Church will not become a safe space within a short period, but we want to create safe addresses. We have now 16 queer ministers who made trainings like this, and I think that's the way forward to expand this number of ministers who are able to create safe spaces around themselves. The perception of the whole LGBT question was from the perspective of gay seminarians. But that was the mindset. And I think it's worth to leave this mindset behind and focus on all the other queer people that live outside the seminaries need a completely different approach. And it's worth to meet them, talk to them, understand their life, and try to accompany them as priest or minister as good as you can.